Welcome to another episode of the Dentology podcast, where we discuss the business of dentistry. In this podcast series, we'll be discussing all the non-clinical aspects of dentistry, from goodwill values, finance, marketing, how to buy and sell a dental practice, mindset, through to where you can invest your money in team management issues. My name is Andy Acton, and I'm joined by my co-host, Chris Strevens. Let's jump straight into it. So welcome to our latest episode of Dentology, the Business of Dentistry podcast, and today we are joined by the lovely Manrinha Rhode.
Hello.
Evening, Manrina.
Hello, Andy. How are you?
Very, very good indeed. So Manrina is a dentist, the first dentist to be in residence at Harrods and Harvey Nichols. She has her porcelain veneers course, which is designing smiles, which is always fully booked out and very popular. And she's the communications chair at the BAPD, of which she's a director. And she launched her DRMR medical grade skincare business fairly recently, which we'll have a chat about as well. So how are you doing? How's your day been?
I'm good. It was good. It was busy, but it was good.
Good.
Yeah.
Pleased to hear it.
Yeah.
So you're very well known on the dental circuit for who you are today. We'll talk about your Instagram and the profile you've got. But what was your pathway into dentistry? How did your career start right back at the beginning? It's always interesting to get that story.
Yeah, so my pathway into dentistry was that I wanted to become an actress. So I was doing maths, history and theatre studies A-levels, and that was my plan. And I was at a grammar school, so our headmistress was quite invested in all our careers, all our lives. And she pulled me aside and told me I was good at science and I was good at art. And did I know that I could combine the two in a career in dentistry? And at the time, obviously, it was the last thing on my mind. I saw myself in Hollywood. But I took her advice because we were very good girls and we did everything we were told. And I'm still like that. I love to follow rules and break them sometimes. But I was, at the time, particularly, right, that's what she said. So I went to shadow a dentist, Nav Kaira, who I now am on the board with at the BAPD. And he was amazing. He was cool, and his job was really interesting, and I was like, wow, is this what dentists are like? Because that's not what I had imagined. And so I was so impressed with everything that I saw. I came back the next day. I changed my A-levels to maths, chemistry and biology, and decided to apply to dental school. So that's how that entry happened. And then dental school was great. I got to perform a lot while I was there. I was at Guy's, which is now King's, and 25 years ago, and there was Diwali shows that they ran every year, and I was always a big part of those, and kind of performed and got involved in the arts as much as I could. And then I did my vocational training year, and in that time we had a talk by, I think it was by Raj Ratan. And he came and he talked to us about, I don't know whether it was Raj or Ravi, it was one of the Ratan brothers back then. And, this was, 20 years ago. And he came and said, this amazing clinic has been built in Knightsbridge, and it is state of the art. You've never seen anything like it. It's a cosmetic dental spa, which of course now is quite, it's a term that we use, but Surinder really was a pioneer and created the first of its kind at that time. It was on the high street in Knightsbridge, opposite Harvey Nichols. It had a storefront. It had heated water beds. It had, foot massages for patients. It was an absolutely stunning location. And so we heard about this clinic, and all of our eyes kind of perked up as these VTs and thought, wow, are there places like that we can work? How amazing. And then very soon after that, a job came out in the BDJ that this clinic, Lund Osler in Knightsbridge, was creating the first dental clinic within a luxury designer department store, or in any department store. At that time, it was the first of its kind. And he was creating this clinic in Harvey Nichols, and he was looking for his Harvey Nichols dentists. And so people kept messaging me saying, oh, did you see this advert? Harvey Nichols dentist. That's you, isn't it, Manrina? Like fashion and dentistry. And I was like, yeah, it's me. Like, this is it. Like, I've got to get this job. And I was very underqualified for it. I just graduated. But I went for it. And that's where one of my life lessons start that I always give to people when I'm lecturing and when I'm speaking, and just say, just do it. Because we can be so scared. We can be so scared of rejection that we won't go for the things we really want in life. And what a shame to not go for something you want because you're scared of rejection. Like there's no chance of winning if you don't even
And
try.
the worst that happens is someone says no.
No,
that is the absolute worst that happens.
The world doesn't collapse.
Yeah.
You don't die. Nothing really goes wrong.
And the best that happens is your dreams come true. And, you know, that one move really changed my life. You know, that back then, 23-year-old Manrina, I'm 43 now, so exactly 20 years ago, we didn't use email back then, so or very, very often. So I got beautiful pearlized paper. I printed out my CV. I put my photo in the corner and I spritzed it with perfume and sent it off.
Smart move.
I know, it's very
But like a love letter.
But I was going to say, all those small touches, you know, we're laughing about it.
Yeah.
But they add up, don't they? The fact that you had nice paper, the
Makes
fact that
difference.
you put your picture, that little spritz, that attention to detail.
Which
particularly with, I was going to say, for somebody like Surinder, that really would have put you into a different category.
And it's exactly what we do in clinic now. It's everything from the way we present ourselves, the way we tie back our hair, the way our clothes are ironed, and our shoe. You know, I wear Gucci B trainers at work, and people always comment on it that you wear Gucci trainers at work, and it's like, because that's who we are. I've thought about every single thing about my uniform, and I'm presented in this way. You know, everything is deliberate, nothing is left to chance, and that's how we run our clinic now, which is how I was taught to run my clinic by Surinder back in the day. And so he recognized, I guess, that in me at that initial process, and I was shortlisted. So I turned up to Lundosler for this interview, and it was a waiting room full of dentists that looked like models. It was, you know, like America's Next Model for dentists.
Very glamorous.
It was very glamorous. Like the setting was glamorous. Everyone had tried to look their best. You know, everyone wanted this job. Everyone thought they were Harvey Nickel's next dentist. And so...
Manrina, can I just ask, was it specifically the advert for women?
No, there were men there too.
So were there men there as well?
And he hired a man and a woman. Myself and a gentleman.
Interesting.
Yeah, he hired both, and then it was a process. So we had an interview with Surinder and the practice manager, an oral interview. Then we had a written exam on cosmetic dentistry. You're not taught cosmetic dentistry at university. It's something that I had to take time to learn for the interview. I contacted my tutors from university. I found out which cosmetic dental textbooks were recommended, and I just done my final. So I was used to absorbing information. I just sat there and read them all so I could ace this exam. And then we had a new patient exam, which I did in the perfect way because I just graduated. So I knew exactly complaints of medical history of presenting complaint, social history, this perfect exam that I hadn't had time to lose my good habits by going into the NHS because I just come from the way I'd been taught. And they really enjoyed the way I presented myself, and they invited me for the job. So that was awesome. So I went straight from university, from vocational training, straight into Harvey Nichols as Surinder's intern. Really, you know, I told him after he hired me, I was like, "You do realize I don't have the experience for this job. You asked for someone far more experienced than me." And he said, "Well, you know, you've got the right vibe, you've got the right attitude, and, you know, the dentistry I'm going to teach you." And to be fair, the sort of dentistry we were doing, he would have had to teach anyone because no one was doing that many veneer cases or that sort of work at that time. It was something everyone was flying out to the States to try and learn, but it wasn't common practice yet.
I suppose also the key thing on that is you had no bad habits to correct, did you?
No.
Yeah.
And I was
you were a new book. You were a new book, really, a new page.
I was a new page.
Could, knowledge.
All I wanted to do was impress him. I didn't care how many hours I had to work. I didn't really care what I was paid or not paid. All I wanted to do I was a sponge, and I wanted to learn, and I wanted this so bad. And I would just literally, you know, I just listened and learned and didn't try and
What an amazing opportunity for you, though.
Yeah, it was, and I appreciated that, and that's the thing. I think that's
but that thing you said as well about he said it was about the vibe and your attitude, and that thing about hiring people for attitude, not aptitude.
Oh yeah,
because the skill bit, if the person has the right attitude, you can get them to the skill level in
definitely.
most jobs just by getting that person in the right direction. But you can't impact someone's positive mindset or their attitude or how they interact with people. Those are the soft skills that are really hard to work on.
They're about part of us. There's that whole nonsense about turning a weakness into a strength. You can never turn a weakness. You can make it less weak, but if you're not that type of person, you're never going to be that type of person. It's just not part of your DNA.
Yeah. So he obviously saw that in you with your good communication skills. It's interesting what you say about enjoying acting in your younger years. That kind of crosses over, because it's Richard Branson says the number one business skill that everybody needs is to be a good communicator. And you obviously had that probably flowing through from your acting days, and that's something that most definitely isn't taught at dental school. And I think quite often dentists, it's not natural for them because they're clinicians and technicians, but you obviously had that in your younger years through the acting. So you probably came as a package quite young for something that lots of people perhaps might take a decade or more to learn and refine those skills.
Yeah, I think I was a natural performer that took me into acting. So maybe I came in with those skills when I went in, which drew me to acting in the first place. And I know we might talk about these things, communication and Instagram and the rest of it, but it all leads through. It's almost not fighting what's in your essence. Like the reason I enjoy Instagram so much is because it picking up a phone and talking to it feels very natural to me. To be on camera feels very natural to me. It's not something I struggle with or I'm nervous about. It's something I actually enjoy. So
So you obviously then went off in the direction of enjoying veneers, and I think the last time we spoke, I think we were talking upwards of 11,000 veneers, something like that, through your career.
Yeah, exactly.
13,000.
Yeah. So we because obviously at Lund Osler, we had Harvey Nichols. Sorry.
I said that's a lot of teeth.
It's a lot of teeth, yeah. And I've got photos of them all, which has been great over the last 20 years. I
wonder if you laid them next to each other. When those people say, I've done veneers like halfway around the world or something. I wonder if you sort of average, average veneer size, how much that would be. Yeah. Because I love stats like that. Those weird sort of things that you think,
you might get from something like here to Saint-Tropez.
Maybe
or something like that.
Yeah, maybe good idea, Chris. I think I'll do that. Find out what well, we know the width. So let's see. Okay.
It's just fascinating.
I hope you get to somewhere like Saint-Tropez and not to somewhere like Walsall or Birmingham or Coventry or something like that. Somewhere really glamorous.
Not that there's anything wrong with Birmingham.
There's nothing wrong with Birmingham, but it's not Saint-Tropez.
Paris would be all right. You can go to Paris.
So veneers. So we opened in Phoenix, and then we opened in Harrods, and so I was the first dentist at both. And by then, Surinder trusted me and knew, and he was like, you just go and run Harrods, and then we got the show 10 Years Younger. And obviously back then there were only 5 TV channels. So it wasn't like now. There were all these options. I don't think there was 4 or 5. I think Channel 5 had just come about. And so 10 Years Younger used to air at 8 p.m. every Thursday. And by Friday morning, there would be 200 new patients trying to book in for veneers. And it was only Surinder and I that did them in the clinic. So it was crazy. It was mental. My 20s were mental. I just did 10 to 20 veneers every single day. I would work till midnight. I would work on Sundays. We just couldn't work fast enough to see the volume of patients that wanted these smile makeovers, because of the TV show and the impact that it had. So that's how it really all started. And it was very much, like an internship. So I would treatment plan a case, Surinder would check it. I would prep a case, Surinder would check it. I would take an impression, Surinder would check it. And then bit by bit over the years, as he felt confident to leave me to it, he let me, he stopped checking. But I was fortunate really in having that. And then also I did all my education at the time over in the States, because we didn't have that sort of cosmetic dental education in the UK, which now of course we do. We've got fabulous education. We've got my course, teaching veneers, and then there's various occlusion courses and other cosmetic dental courses out there.
You should always get the guys to put up, if you follow the link at the bottom of Manrinha tap to enroll.
Yeah.
Could you put that?
Yeah, there we go. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. If you point, we'll make sure it features. But just that as an experience, being able to go over to America, was it Larry Rosenthal in New York you went to?
Yes, yeah. I did
that was so cutting edge at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2004 to 2007, I was back and forth then, and that at the time I was involved with the BACD, and it was all that lot that were going over with me, and obviously they're all a bit older than me. They're about, 10, 15 years older than me. But because these things had only just come to the UK, they were only just learning them and I was just learning them. And so we all used to fly back and forth. I did the Larry Rosenthal Aesthetic Advantage over there. We used to fly our patient over 3 years, all the levels. But then I also did occlusion studies with Dawson in Florida. I did some work with Pascal Magnier as the BACD. We all went over together, the whole board, because I was on the board of the BACD at the time. So yeah, lots of going back and forth to the States.
But also that whole concept of you need to do something for 10,000 hours to get expert at it, because of where you were and there was such a volume of business, you were just doing so much dentistry in a relatively short period of time. So much.
By the age of 28 even, I could prep 10 veneers with my eyes closed in 10 minutes because that's all, there was only 5 treatments that we offered. And so we just kept repeating those same treatments and every day there was 10 or 20 veneers, even now, but throughout my whole 20-year career. So, yeah.
I think the key thing, one of the key things though, is that even though you've done 13,000 veneers, you still are enthusiastic about doing them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You haven't, I've met you a couple of times, but you seem to be so enthusiastic about what you're delivering either to patients or to other dentists for them to deliver to patients. And I think that's a real skill, because, after 13,000 veneers and being able to prep them with your eyes closed, there could easily be a tendency for you to lose that enthusiasm when you're communicating with people. But I somehow feel, and I say I'm not a dentist, but I somehow feel that the last one is to you
even
as
today,
enthusiastic
just
as
now,
the first
before
one.
I came, I just fit a case, and it's because I'm aesthetically driven, so I like things that look nice. And I was fitting, when patients come in, they'll often, I'll be talking to them and I'll be getting excited because I know what I'm about to create. Like I can see it, and sometimes they'll just be like, "You're more excited than I am," and I'll be like, "I am." I know what's about to happen. I said to a patient, I saw a new patient today, and I said the same to him. I was like, "I'm so excited about getting my hands on your mouth," and I genuinely am excited about getting my hands on his mouth. And he was like, I'm excited about what you're going to do." And the last case I fit just before I came on today, I literally popped the veneers on, and I stopped and looked at my own work and went, wow, because, I knew where I was taking her. I knew she'd flown in from Ireland. She'd found me. She knew as well that she'd chosen me for a reason. And then to see it and to see the change you've created, it's very rewarding. It's not the type of dentistry where people are coming in pain and they're complaining and they're unhappy. They're coming, I don't believe there's a human being that doesn't want to look better. It's human nature for us to want to look better. Yeah. And to be able to do that for people without it being a question of, am I going to make you look better? Like at this stage in my career, I can very clearly see exactly what I'm about to achieve and how I'm going to achieve it. So I feel very relaxed and confident going through the procedure, and then you get these beautiful results. So yeah, it's still really exciting.
It's one of the few things, isn't it, really, that you can, that ability to change someone's life, their confidence by giving them a better smile than they had before.
He cried.
And it's just unbelievable.
No, and she said, "I'm sorry, I'm crying. I'm crying tears of happiness. You don't know how much has gone behind this. I'm just so happy that we're here." Yeah. And they do. They cry so often in my chair, but not cry out sadness. They literally cry because there's so much emotion pent up with your appearance and, improving someone's appearance, and especially improving their smile and giving them the ability for them to be better communicators, because they're spending their life masking something that they're quite insecure about. And I know this is a podcast and not all of you can see my face, but that difference between not showing your teeth to meeting people with a broad smile and showing, and I'm smiling at these guys right now, at Chris and Andy. It's completely different. That interaction's completely different. The way you're going to perceive me is completely different. The reason you think I enjoy my job, Chris, is because when I see you, I smile when I talk about my job, but I could love it just as much and be telling you about it like this, and you probably, hiding my teeth, and you wouldn't have the same opinion of me.
I think that's why it's always said, we obviously speak to lots of people towards the end of their career when they're selling their practice, and it sad, it breaks your heart when people have fallen out of love with dentistry.
Yeah. They're just doing the wrong type of dentistry. Career. That's it. They're doing the wrong type.
And it is so life-changing and transformational. It should be something that people should still be in love with.
On your course, Manrina, is it a wide range of ages?
Yeah.
So if you've got like young thrusting associates, female and male, and then you've also got some old duffers in their sort of like 50s who have decided, as you were just saying, I'm doing the wrong type of dentistry.
Yeah, I've had the full range. I've had 23-year-olds on my course. I've had 60-year-olds on my course. I've had people who have done aesthetic MSCs on my course and still feel like they haven't had enough experience in veneers and then come to learn from me. Because I think smile makeovers, minimally invasive smile makeovers with porcelain veneers I believe, are the most complex thing we do in dentistry. There are so many things that can go wrong in that process. It's an elective process in a lot of situations. So it's something you really don't want to mess around with. And when they go wrong, it can be really very stressful for the clinician. And so, dentists do them. They try not to do them because they're nervous about them. They're scared of veneers falling off. They're scared of over prepping and causing sensitivity, or patients needing root canal. They're scared of, getting sued. And so they stay away often from these sort of things. But really, it's because they're not taught how to do these cases at university. So if they just come and learn how to do it properly, then you can enjoy the process and stop being scared of it. So
yeah.
And that's life, isn't it? We tend to enjoy the things we're good at.
Yeah.
We enjoy those things a lot more. You talked a lot about aesthetics in the context of teeth and smiles, but you're also interested in aesthetics of the whole face and how that integrates with dentistry. Yeah. So was that kind of behind the thinking? So you obviously created your DRMR skincare range. Was that kind of the moving away from just being about the teeth and more about the face?
Yeah. So I think dentists can be very small-minded and look at single tooth dentistry, and then you want to open up their minds and tell them to start looking at quadrant dentistry, get them to look at full mouth dentistry, get them to now look at the gums as the curtain of the smile, get them to look at the lips, get them to then look at facial proportions. And the more you can look at what's going on all around the face, the better treatment plan you can give, and the more personalized and better result you will get. So as I've gone deeper and deeper into my profession and created even more beautiful results, I found that really I needed to look at the whole face. And also maybe it's a bit of what you were saying before, Chris, about doing the same treatments for a long time and bringing new things in so that it's still exciting. Like, we love to buy our toys and bring those into, let's buy this machine, let's start using this software. Okay, let's learn a new skill and let's start using that. So that's how I started moving out from just to teeth. I also do my own surgical gum lift. So I work on the gums. And then I was referring out for facial aesthetics. I learned facial aesthetics back in 2004, but didn't really use it very much. I was so busy with my veneers and then just thought it was easy just to palm it off to the facial aesthetics nurse. And then at some point, kind of started falling a bit in love with it again and wanting to take the control rather than going to someone else and saying, can you achieve this with this patient's lips? And can you make their smile a little less gummy for me by Botoxing their gummy smile? I kind of wanted to control it myself. And so I started doing more of my own facial aesthetics. And then I guess as I saw myself aging, probably from sort of 35 onwards, it's about 8 years ago, I got more into skincare because I wanted to. Dermatology is one thing, but just I don't want to use anti-aging because I don't think any of us want to look 20. But I wanted to understand the science behind skin of keeping my own face where it was. And I didn't want to trust some sales assistant across the counter to tell me what I should or should be using. I wanted to. It's my mind is I want to understand everything myself. So as I got more and more into skincare, I started working with Abaji. I found that they were a very well-respected brand and started working with them. And I guess whoever I start working with can see my passion for whatever I do. And
your enthusiasm,
Yeah, and so I really threw myself into it, and they made me one of their clinical ambassadors, and I started doing a lot of work with them. And then then all my patients were on got full face treatment plans, and I lecture about that a lot. That let's treatment plan the whole face. Let's not just look at the mouth. And we're the best people really to do that as dentists. And then a friend of mine who is a dermatologist in the Dominican Republic was like, you're making all this money for Abaji. You could really just launch your own skincare line. And I was like, I had no idea about a product line. How do you do that? I wasn't even a principal at that stage. I'm an associate building a brand and learned about brand, started to learn about brand building, learned a bit about, learned a fair bit about social media. And then she was like, oh, well, I'll show you. And so she did, and she introduced me to the whole, step by step. And I think you meet these mentors in your life, these people who help you. It's easy to get to your next goal when you've got someone there who's already done it. That's, in my career, I had Surinder, and then, I moved over to London Smile, and I had Tim, and then with the skincare, I had this, she was helping me. And so then I was like, right, well, yeah, I'm going to create my own, and I'm going to create a product line. And the plan was always to create a dental product line that never came to be because I had no idea how to do it. But skincare kind of, I had a mentor there, and that was lovely to create my own line. And I still work with Abaji. I'm still their ambassador, but my patients use my skincare for anti-aging, and I do.
I suppose it makes sense in a way. I was just thinking, the way you're describing, I was just thinking, it's a bit like, I suppose, some architect builds a brilliant house, a really beautiful house, and then someone fills it in with completely crap furniture.
Yeah,
it's almost that sort of thing of what if I'm going to give you a brilliant smile, then why don't I work on making the whole canvas of your face suit itself?
That's it.
And that's an interesting thought.
Architects do, don't they? The architect I've got working on my clinic, he's chosen all my furniture with me. He's chosen all my hinges and doorknobs and everything else because we're not going to now take this space and let anything be imperfect.
Yeah, that's right. You don't want some other rubbish in it.
What I thought was interesting is when you explain the difference between anti-aging products and products that are good for your skin but allow you to age gracefully but be the best version of yourself. I've never thought of that thing about, there's a danger that you have products that almost kind of take you away from the natural you, which then kind of is not really portraying who you are and whether you feel comfortable like that as well.
That's not who we are. I think, our patients all come from word of mouth or from my Instagram page, and from word of mouth, they've seen the results of my clients that are walking around, and from Instagram, they've seen my results because I post about them every day. And it's always about very natural. I never want anyone to look like they've had anything done. I just want people to think they're really good looking people. Just naturally really good looking. It's never about looking like this. You've spent a lot of money on yourself.
We'll come on to your practice that you're working on in a second. But before we get to that, there's a link to the Instagram that you've mentioned a couple of times because you've done an incredible job building your following, building your profile and your content. So you've ended up with a brand and you've effectively ended up with a channel to produce new business as an individual without needing to own a business. So you can then divert those people to your practice when you open, which is amazing in its own right. But when did you seriously start engaging with Instagram and how's it changed for you over time?
Yeah, so I started Instagram right when Instagram launched, about 2011. I feel like it was 2011, so a long time ago. And I started with a personal page, and I just used to post about whatever I was doing. Because again, as I was saying earlier, it's about who you are. I enjoy sharing pictures of, I'm wearing this today. Oh, I cooked this today. Oh, I'm here today. And whereas before I might take a picture and then show my friends, or before, and then when WhatsApp came WhatsApp to your friends and say, oh, this is what's going on, or your family. This suddenly gave me an outlet to do that, and anyone who was interested could join, and I enjoyed sharing that. So for me, it was a very natural thing to do. And then at some point, about 6 years ago, I thought, let me post some of my clinical work. So every 10 posts or so, I would post teeth. And when I would do that, about 5 new patients would contact me and say, can we book in for a consultation? And I was like, that's interesting. This is before Instagram for Business existed. It didn't exist 6 years ago. There was Instagram, but it wasn't a business channel. And so I was like, okay, let me see how this goes. And then I contacted the GDC at the time, and I was like, okay, I'm posting teeth on my page. I'm also posting pictures of me drinking or me on holiday. Is there an issue here? And they were like, we don't really know about Instagram, but probably.
I still don't think they do.
They do. They now have a policy. They've got
guidelines.
They caught up. But at the time they were like, it probably isn't a good idea, but we don't really know. Yeah. So I was like, they were like, start a dental page. I was like, okay, how boring. I'm going to start a dental page. How am I, I just had no passion for it. But I was like, fine. So I started this dental page, but then really started enjoying sharing what I was doing at work. And I think it's when you share, like, you know, my personal page was fun because as I shared, and people then got excited about, oh, you're there. Oh, you're wearing that. Oh, that happened. Oh, that's, you know, and you feel like, oh, that's great. And then on my dental page, I started posting, and then people started getting excited about that. Like, that's amazing. How did you do that? And I was like, oh, is this interesting? Oh, great. Yeah, sure. I love talking about it. I love my job. And let's talk. And so then the dental page built up. And now what are you laughing at?
You're quite irrepressible, really.
Your energy. Honestly, Chris and I are sitting here. We are absolutely exhausted.
I just think to myself, what time do you go to bed? and do you talk in your sleep? But your energy levels are just off the charts. Like irrepressible. I've met you. I think we spoke once on Clubhouse, and I met you briefly at something else. And your enthusiasm for I can sort of imagine you. Well, I'm going to make a cup of. I'm making a cup of coffee. Look at this cup of coffee. You're just irrepressibly enthusiastic.
Pretty enthusiastic.
Which is a good thing.
It makes me
Which
happy.
is a good thing.
My life is happy.
Yeah, quite right too. Yeah, it's brilliant.
So yeah. So then
you've got your dental page. Your dental page is up. You're posting your content.
Dr Manrina Rhode. So it's Dr Manrina Rhode. I love it. I post every day. I enjoy sharing what I'm doing. I enjoy every Tuesday I do an Ask Dr Manrina. People ask me their questions. I enjoy answering their questions. People seem to enjoy my answers. And then just through doing something that I quite enjoy, I've managed to build this brand and built this international brand. So now my clients, my course delegates, my dentists who come on my courses, my people who buy my skincare, and my patients come from all over the world. So I'm not limited to the local area
it's
or
amazing,
even to the
it?
UK. I've got this massive market. I've got this lady here from Ireland today. I've got a patient flying in from New York next week. You know, it's the whole.
I mean, what an amazing time to be a dentist. This just wasn't available 15 years ago. You couldn't have done what you're doing today. It just wouldn't have been possible.
And it's sort of, and I know there is a cost because it's cost of your time, but it's not costing you money to run an advert in something or a promotion or something.
Free.
What you're doing is that enthusiasm for your work.
Yeah.
You're translating onto Instagram.
But also by doing that,
other people's
it cuts through all the BS. Because you have to be authentic. When you're online, people get to see you, the real you. And because you are online and you post a lot of content, people sniff out if it's not real. And so they get connected with the person and they understand who you are and what you're doing. And that's never been available before.
I mean, I want to do a veneer course.
It's only for dentists, unfortunately.
Oh, damn.
And you can buy my skincare. You can buy my skincare.
Oh, thank you. Are you saying I'm looking old?
I said it wasn't anti-aging. It's being your best you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay. Exactly. Being your best you.
so linking the Instagram to where we are in terms of your practice. You're on the cusp of opening your own and first practice, and we met about a year ago today for a coffee, and we walked around the corner and you pointed and you said that's going to be my practice, and within a very short period of time you will be opening your own practice. What's that journey been like? Yeah,
my super clinic. It's been 20 years in the making. So the attention to detail in this space is unbelievable. Every single corner, you know, the doorknob, the hinges, the light switch, the way the corners have been made, have been thought about. And a lot of it it's all been designed, and a lot of it's been handmade because it's all bespoke. It's bespoke furniture that I've designed and then had made. With a lot of care. We haven't gone for the cheapest option in anything. We've gone for the best option in everything. Very much what my patients expect of me is what I've created for them. And I think it's the perfect home for my brand and the home that my brand deserves. So so I'm super excited about this next step, about this next stage. And I've been talking about it. I started talking about opening my own clinic when I was 25, and it's taken me this long. Got to get there, but I feel like the experience I've gathered over the years at the clinics that I've worked at, working in luxury private cosmetic practice for 20 years, has given me the knowledge that I need to now make these ideas in my head a reality. So yeah, I'm very excited to share it with you guys and with everyone.
I think what's lovely as well is what you said about how many years it's been in the making, because I think one thing that social media does put people under pressure for is thinking that everything has to happen now, and everyone's having this amazing success that happened overnight. Whereas what you're saying is you had this thought, when you were 25, which was a few years ago now, and you've got to. But the thing is, it takes a while to kind of develop and manifest itself and turn into reality. And I think that's a really important message for young dentists to understand that it is worth waiting and working on things, because the good things do take time.
Is there any such thing as an overnight success?
Yeah, exactly.
So even at 23, where I was launched into Harvey Nicks, it was a massively stressful environment because there was a lot of expectation on me to perform, and I put a lot of expectation on myself to perform. And, I was working 7 days a week. I was working till midnight. I was just working all the time because every treatment plan had to be perfect. Every series of photos before I presented them to Surinder had to be perfect. I didn't for 1 second want to disappoint him or him regret his decision in choosing me, or the opportunity he'd given me. And so, there was some insinuations at the time about me getting the job because of the way I looked. And I thought, even if there was an element of that to it at the time, there's no way I could have kept that job after that
without substance.
It was so high pressured and it was so important to be perfect at all times, working at that level. And that nothing less than that was good enough. So it wasn't nothing. No part of this was easy. No part of it. And even now, this isn't easy. Like, you guys know, how many practices have you guys sold?
You got to work harder. Whatever you do every day, you have to wake up and work hard at it.
It's so pushing every day, pushing. I had a review with my assistant just at the end of the day today, her review, and I was just saying that I was like, I know I'm pushing you, but I'm pushing myself, and we're growing every day because that's what we're doing. So anyone looking even in on my life and being like, oh yeah, her life's easy, living in Knightsbridge, going on these holidays, look at blah blah blah. And it's like, do you understand how hard I work, how hard I push? The Instagram page isn't easy. It takes time and dedication. The clinic build isn't easy. It's taking so much dedication, and looking after my patients and creating their perfect journey from them, the concentration and how much of them I give of myself to them to give them the experience that they have. It's a lot. It's always a lot. It's always pushing.
It's relentless.
Yeah.
I mean, we sort of, we were laughing about how enthusiastic you are, but Carol Dweck wrote a book called Mindset, and it basically highlights the difference between growth and fixed mindset, and you're undoubtedly a growth mindset type person. Are you always looking for growth and opportunities in everything you do? Are you the sort of person that goes on holiday to a beautiful island but are always looking for things to take inspiration from and new ideas? Do you ever truly switch off and relax, or are you always is that on button?
I was going to ask, when you go on holiday, do you actually
I'm very good.
I'll have my glass of wine, I'll swim in the sea or whatever.
So I'm always looking to grow, and my mind is always active, and I have ideas, and then I write them down, and I just start. The difference is that I just start putting them into action. So when I have an idea, I'm like, okay, people call it visualization, and I didn't even know about visualization when I started doing this. I have an idea, and I just close my eyes and I work out, okay, this is what I want to do. What are the steps I need to take to make this happen? And I work out the exact process. I need to find someone who does this, and when I found them that, I need to contact them about this, and this step would be there, and I will have to fund it with that. So to achieve that, and I work out the process in my head, and then I just start moving through the steps. And then, when I went to a seminar and they were talking about visualization, I was like, oh, I do that without even realizing. So I'm not necessarily always looking for opportunity or ideas, but my brain is super active. So, my nurse, again, my team were laughing today because I always do. I often do 2 or 3 things at once, so I can write an email while listening to what my team is saying and respond to them and continue writing. And my assistant was like, "It's just amazing, Manrina. Like, well, how are you doing that?" And I was like, "I didn't even know that I did it." But you're right, I do. I'm constantly working, but I think I'm good with that because I'm also very good at stopping. So, I'm working till 9 today we'll do this, and then I've got my BAPD meeting, and then I need to finish off some notes, and then I know that at 9 my partner's coming home and we're going to chill, and then that's it. My brain won't even think or anything. It won't think about work.
I think that's so important to have that downtime, isn't it? Where you can sort of like go, I'm done, I'm finished. Thanks so much.
I sleep
There's
really
no
well.
point.
I don't worry about it.
No point worrying about it, 'cause I can't do anything about it.
When I wake up, the first thing I do is think about what am I doing today. I think about the things that I'm excited about that day, and then I get up and I start doing them. And when I go on holiday, and I do like to go on holiday often, and I think it's because of that, because I run at 100 miles per hour when I'm working, and then I go away and I just stop, and I need it, and I come back, and then I go again, and it's like I only know how to do 100 miles or 5 miles. It's one or the other. I don't know how to keep it in the middle.
Well, I remember I used to work for a bank, and I can remember we went on some one of the money management courses that you would have gone on as well. And I remember this guy, and he said, what I do is I have a pad by the side of my bed, so when I wake up in the middle of the night, I can write it down. And he said to me, do you? I went, no. I said, I don't wake up. I'm sleeping. What is the matter with you, man? But some people are like that, aren't they? They just worry, or they can't switch it off. And I think it's brilliant that you're able, with the enthusiasm that we see, to be able to go, actually, right, but also I'm deflating myself.
I think to achieve those things and to run at 100 mile an hour and have that energy, you need sleep, and sleep's a really underrated thing.
I love
we
sleeping.
do it every night, but people don't attach the importance to it, because if you get really good sleep, you wake up refreshed, you're more creative, you've got more energy, and I think we just take it for granted, but actually getting a good night's sleep is so important. And that thing about holidays, the amount of people you hear say, I need a holiday to recover. Well, perhaps take holidays more frequently. Not necessarily, doesn't have to be anything exotic.
No.
Before you get to the knees.
Before you get to the point where you're knackered.
Because
then that'll make you better in
I schedule them in. Like I always know when I've taken one, I've got the next one booked. And so I'm like, okay, I know I'm running till this point, and then I'm going to stop running, and I'm going to stop. And so they're always, every few months, there's another one.
Yeah. We have quite a lot of younger dentists listen to the podcast. Your career's moved as I would expect, because you are non-stop at 100 miles an hour. What would your advice be to students or younger dentists just entering the profession now, in terms of tips for them based on your experience?
So I think that whole thing I was saying about essence earlier is really important, and I often say this to young dentists, that people can get really disillusioned with our profession, and the reason for that is because we're always chasing this carrot. So we're just constantly rushing. If you're even for myself, I book really long appointments, and I don't ever want my patients to feel rushed, but equally, because they are coming and they're expecting a level of service, they don't want to lie on my chair for 2 hours for a single filling. Like, if I can get that done in an hour for them by working really effectively, then I'm providing a better service for them. And so you're constantly kind of time pressured to get that patient in and out of that lying down position as soon as possible. And also, while you are working, there's zero margin for error. You can go a millimeter wrong one way and enter the pulp and kill a tooth. You can go a centimeter wrong that way and cut someone's lip open, and then you've got litigation case in front of you. So it's a very high pressure job with very little room for error. And so people can get disillusioned, and they can get quite stressed, and if God forbid, then complaints come in, and then, it really can become very stressful. So what I say to dentists, young dentists, is to look inside them and try and work out what it is that they enjoy. And if they enjoy, for example, gardening, then maybe they want to look at a career in periodontics. If they enjoy screwing, making Technic, little Meccano kits, maybe they want to look at being an implantologist. If they enjoy making things beautiful, maybe they want to look at doing more cosmetic work. And if they enjoy very technical little, undoing tangled up necklaces, maybe they want to look at endodontics. And so within dentistry, there's so many different avenues that you can take. And for most of us, if you limit your practice to one type of treatment, it becomes really quite stress-free. Like for myself now with veneers or with cosmetic work, it's easy. Like I look at someone, I know exactly what I need to do. I know exactly how we're going to get there. I know what could potentially go wrong and what can't, how long it's going to take. I know everything. And so there's no stress involved in it. It's just a matter of telling the patient and going through the journey. And you get there much more quickly once you choose your speciality. So So for some people, jack of all trades is good, and general practice is definitely going to suit certain people that need that. And for others, it's not. And then maybe you need to specialize. So I think people need to realize it's not just NHS practice or general practice and doing everything. There's a lot of opportunity out there, and you can just really take the time to learn to do the type of dentistry you want to do. And also, if you can learn to do dentistry well and not try and run before you can walk, then your career can be less stressful as well. So if they're very young and they're just out of university and they're seeing these cases on Instagram and they're like, I'm going to do a full mouth rehabilitation because I can do it, then at some point it's gonna go wrong, and you're gonna have a lot of stress, and you're not gonna enjoy your career as much. But if you can just gently, don't watch a video on YouTube and think you know how to do something. Go on the courses, bring it into practice, take on a mentor, someone who you can ask. Don't be scared to ask. Us as more experienced dentists are so happy to help. People helped me in my career. I want to help people as they come up in their career. We all want to help each other. You don't need to know everything or pretend you know everything. Come in with humility, ask the questions, and then slowly just build up your skill set. And as you feel comfortable, you will progress in your career. You don't need it all today. It's going to take 5, it's going to take 10 years to get there, but you'll get there. So I think those are. I think
that message of slowing down. I think that's really powerful.
I think that's really collaborative thing. It's interesting. Out of a lot of the people, the dentists especially that we've spoken to, they're all into collaborative. Yeah. Ask us questions. Let us teach you. Let us help you, rather than let you fail on your own. I think it's massively rewarding and encouraging, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when we started, we said we had a lot of content to get through, and I think we've skimmed through most of it. We haven't dug anything like as deep, but as we were saying, this is probably going to turn into a Netflix series at some point. So that'll be fine. We can cover it out in future episodes. Yeah. But we always finish up with the same 2 questions for our guests, and the first one is: if you could be the fly on a wall in a situation, is there a situation that you'd love to eavesdrop in on and just have a look and see what's going on?
Okay, so I guess looking at recent events, I was just shortlisted for Dentist of the Year a few days ago, and
congratulations!
Thank you. And that was so hugely exciting for me because I haven't achieved anything like that in my career before, like Dentist of the Year. I'm in dentistry top 50, the last few years I'm this, that, and the other, and that's all great. That is great, and I'm really proud of that. But Dentist of the Year feels like a really big one. And I know that with my application that they had, which outlined everything that I'd done in my career and what brought me to this stage, I've done quite a lot. I've really pushed and tried to do things to help our profession, and I know they've got a great panel of judges. And I guess I would have really liked to be a fly on the wall at that judging session. I don't know if I've won or not, but just to see what their opinion was. I feel so proud of what I've done up until now in my career, and I wonder how they perceived my application when they saw it, like what they thought when they read it, and whether they thought, "Wow, she has done a lot," or whether they thought, "Oh, okay." Well, they obviously thought something because they shortlisted me, but I think I would have liked to hear what. Oh, I don't know why. I just would have liked to hear what they had to say about it. Yeah.
But also because you're the sort of person that always wants to improve and get better. Yeah. I imagine you probably like someone to critique where you're at now, because that will give you insights in terms of where you can improve.
Feedback, positive or negative.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, interesting. And then our last question is: who would you like to meet? If you could meet somebody, who would you like to sit down and have a glass of wine or a meal with?
Dead. They could be dead. They could be fictional.
Okay. Oh. Okay. I think, the first person that came to mind was Margaret Thatcher.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, I think she's really cool. And I think it'd be cool to sit down and have a bottle of wine with her, not just a glass, and just have a really good. I'd love to get into her mindset and work out who she is, and I think that would be cool. I'd really enjoy that.
There's no doubt. I think in terms of powerful women.
Yeah.
I think she set a new agenda
and
for how for how women are perceived on the global stage.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think she really did change, and regardless of the politics thing, just the way she positioned herself. I think it was she pushed the door open for an awful lot of women. Which was amazing.
And I'm trying to do the same thing. I want to do where I can to try and help women in dentistry and help, create pathways for them. So but this, on a much, much smaller scale, not the same thing, but I think that's probably why I look up.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, well, Manrina, you've been an absolute star. It's always fun talking to you. I love our conversations. It's been brilliant. I know you need to nip off because you've got another meeting before you can truly relax this evening. So thank you very much indeed. We really enjoy talking to you. It's been great fun, and hopefully we'll catch up soon.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Manrina.
Thanks, guys.
I always enjoy talking to Manrina Rhode. She has so much energy and zest for life, and her passion for dentistry it's off the charts.
Her enthusiasm's stunning, isn't it, really? You almost feel like you could, all this electricity things, you can, plug 2 cables into her and run your house off her.
Yeah.
She's just irrepressible.
But also, the thing that I loved about it is she's moving incredibly quickly. She does so much stuff, 13,000 veneers, her course. But then her message to younger dentists was, go slow, take your time, learn your craft, which is what she's done. But she's just done it with energy and enthusiasm. And that, I think, is a really powerful message for young dentists.
The thing, it's funny, isn't it? We do it with the things that we do, but I love the fact of, she's just really done VT. Then she got some really nice paper and she put a bit of perfume on it. Yeah. And it's that little thing, isn't it, that made her stand out about all those other people. And that's something that probably wasn't taught to her. That's something that's part of her.
Yeah.
And I just think things like that, those are the little things that can make a massive difference.
And then when you carry it through to her new practice that she's working on, which is opening soon, and she says that she's got bespoke furniture and she's thought about the curves on the corners and the doorway and the badge that she's got on the practice, everything, those small attentions to detail.
Definitely.
Like I say, it was right at the beginning of her career with that letter, and it's still flowing through now to how she's going to be creating the practice of her dreams.
Yeah.
So we covered a lot of ground.
Oh, huge amount.
The thing is with Manrina, you can, because she moves at a pace.
She just keeps going.
You have to hang on, don't you? Because she moves quite quickly. It was a really enjoyable conversation.
It was a brilliant conversation.
Yeah, it was great.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Dentology, where we discuss the business of dentistry. If you like what you heard, please do subscribe where you found this episode. That would be amazing. And also follow us on Instagram.